Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to the book writing seminar, course, workshop, whatever you want to call it. This will be an intense 90 minutes and I'll take you from idea to some technical things on how to write your book. And this is very important, like leave your legacy, leave something that you are contributing to the world. You all know me here, but in case some people in the future do not know me, my name is Dr. Daphne Earhart. I am a psychologist, I'm a world traveler, I'm a 3-time author, and my first book, when I published my first book, I learned everything from scratch, and I did it myself. I did not pay any company to do it for me or any person to market for me or do anything for me, but I learned it from scratch. I've learned from probably 5 different experts in the book writing, book publishing field by going to different workshops myself. And then after I did all that, I actually went through the process and I found a lot of glitches and it was very, very difficult. And every step of the way, I figured out a way to make it to the next step, to make to the next step, to make to the next step. And sometimes that involves asking other people that were bestsellers, hey, I stuck at this little section, like, what do I do here? Sometimes it meant I searched online, I got courses online. So it's what you're learning here is a gathering of information from multiple sources and from my own experience. And my very first book was a bestseller, and it's very difficult to become a bestseller nowadays. And it was a bestseller in 2 separate categories on Amazon, and not just for 1 or 2 hours, but for 2 days straight. So that is a little bit about me and my background and what. Hello, hi, joining in. Few people will be joining a little bit later too, probably. So that's my background on how I became a bestseller and all the work that went through behind how I learned my information from multiple sources, from all my experience and etc. The purpose of this workshop today is to, as you know, give you all of the tools that you need so that you can share the purpose that's behind your book. And there are several purposes that people have when they want to write a book or publish a book, share a book with the world. A lot of the time it is a legacy. A book is a legacy. You know, you write things from your heart. You write things that it could be a memoir, it could be from your personal experience, it could be how to do something. We all have something in us, whether it's a story or information of how, you know, we found a way of living that is more healthy, more easy, or in some way benefits people. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to share it. And it can help so many people if you share it. So I really, first of all, I want to apologize for the background noise. I'm in Sri Lanka. There are tuk-tuks going by, and there are these morning cats. I wake up to these cats making strange noises every morning. They must be in heat or something, but they are really loud, and it seems like 5 cats are just meowing like rah! In the morning. So if you hear a weird noise behind me, that's what it is. It's a cat. At first I thought it was a peacock because in India there were peacocks that sounded like cats, but it's really a cat. I hope you can hear it. Anyway, I'm on my balcony to fill everyone in. There's no electricity here today, so I'm very happy and lucky to have my computer charged, and my Wi-Fi is miraculously working, so I can still hold this and everyone can be here and we can gather and learn together still. All right, so first step, think about inside. What is your purpose? Is your purpose to share some information? Is it to share your story? Is it a memoir? Is it to leave a legacy? Is it to make money? Is it to establish yourself as an expert? And that's another one that's a really big one. Writing a book makes people, I mean, if you think of it, if someone has author after their name, that gives them some kind of authority as an expert, right? And so, but everyone has something that they're good at. You know, we've developed our personalities, our interests, and so why not put that information into a book where people can read it and you become the expert? It can be used as a business card almost. Some people use their books as a business card, you know. It's a really memorable kind of business card. All right, so we're going to get into the basics, the topics that you would like. By show of hands, how many of you have an idea of at least one topic you might be interested in? Okay. And if you, I think a couple of you might be interested in writing a children's book, which is very awesome, and that's a great niche. All right. Did you hear the cat just now? Okay. All right, no worries. Okay, awesome. I'm glad you have an idea of I saw your hand. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to jump into the next section. Actually, I want this to be practical. So to get some clarity today, it's important to just have any topic come to mind to work on. And this does not have to be the topic you stick with. We're just going to do a practice run today. I don't want to do a theoretical training. I want to do a practical one as well. So let's just take a few minutes. You don't have to share this with anybody, just so you know, just to get clarity within yourself. Just take a couple minutes, maybe close your eyes for a second, take some deep breaths, and let yourself think about and access what is important to me. What are some top three things that I might want to share with the world? What have I learned in my lifetime that I wish someone might have told me when I was younger? Or what is some story or some lesson that I have inside that if I shared might brighten somebody else's day, might give them some metaphorical guidance? What is it? Big, small, in between. And keep in mind that when you have fear inside of you, it's more difficult to be creative. And creativity is what we're going to access today. So let the fear dissolve, let it go. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have any answers. We're just going to get whatever it is inside of us out on paper. So let yourself come up with a couple of topics now. And now just let one of them, it doesn't matter which one it is. It could be the craziest one. It could be the most minute one. Sometimes the more specific ones are better. If it's broad, that's okay too. Whatever comes to your mind first, write it down. Write that word down or topic. You can open your eyes now. Keep breathing deeply. Write down that topic. And that's what we're going to go with today. Good job. If you don't already have some paper and a pen, take a little break and go get some, or just use your device, whatever you want to type on it. All right, so you have your topic for the day written down. Piece of information I'd like to give you is a good rule of thumb for naming a book is the title will have 5 words that appeal to the heart. The subtitle will have about 10 to 15 words that appeal to the head. So I might share my screen later too. We could just search on Amazon and see how people do that. So an example might be how to travel on a budget. How to travel on a, 6 words, but A doesn't count, okay? And then the subtitle might be loving the adventure while letting your bank account grow, something like that. That has emotion words in it. It kind of tells you a little bit more information. All right, we had someone else just join us. That's a good rule of thumb. So why don't you write down right now, write down 5 words. Hi, welcome. So get a piece of pen, a pen and paper right now, write down 5 words that appeal to the head of the topic you might choose. So we just had a meditation on accessing whatever that topic is. Doesn't have to be perfect. Anything you choose just for the exercise today. And then the title will be 5 words that appeal to the head. The subtitle will be 10 to 15 words that explain that, but appeal to the heart. So another example might be how to herd cats. That would be the title. That's very factual. How to herd cats. The 10 to 15 word would be something emotional. What emotion? From chaos to warm and fuzzy purrs. I don't know, something, whatever that appeals to your emotion. All right, so you guys have that down? Raise your hand if you have titles and subtitle, and just write any. I want you to, the number one thing to do today is not to be perfect, because we only have an hour and 10 minutes left. We're just gonna get this all out, okay? So just write something down, any title you want. Later you can perfect it. Later you'll say, oh, these are okay 5 words that, this would be more specific. So write down 5 words that appeal to the head, 10 to 15 that appeal to the heart. Raise your hand when you're done. Okay, awesome. All right, now I'm going to do another section, and this has to do with the content of the book, which is where people usually have a lot of trouble because that takes a lot of creativity and work. So to do this, I'm going to have you close your eyes again and take some deep breaths again. We're going to access our creativity again. Get in that fun creative mode. What are some topics within this main topic that are important? And just so you know, I'm going to send you a cheat sheet later that's going to have all of these steps. It's going to have how to come up with a purpose, title, subtitles. So you can be in the moment and just experience it. And I will send the main things to you later. All right, so what are some main issues or thoughts that you would like to convey? Breathe deeply, think of your audience. Very important to always consider your audience. Do you have a base of somebody? that would probably like to read your book, have them be the target audience. What are some of the main things that you really would like to convey to them when you write this book? Some things that if you feel like they would know, it could change their life in some way. What are those things? All right, now you can open your eyes, take out your pen and paper or computer or phone, and this is going to be the brainstorming part. Write down, fast and furiously, write down 15 to 20 topics just within your topic. So if you're doing a how-to book, this might be a little bit easier. If you're doing a children's storybook, just have any scene or any topic that comes up. For example, if you are doing a children's book with a train or with a sea animal, you could have, at some point, I want the sea otter to convey the message of you are good enough or you are loved. And then that would be one topic, you are loved. And then you might have another topic of two different animals talking to each other or empowerment. Any word, any name, the first line, just write it down. For those who are doing a how-to book, it will be a little more logical. You know, if you're doing a health-related book, you might have 10 to 15 topics that might include the psychology of health or the nutrition or exercise or why it's important, the purpose, stuff like that. So just like jot those down. It might be one word, 10 to 15 topics. Things you want the reader to know. It could be steps, parts of the story. I don't have background music for you, but I have some birds and cats. And raise your hand when you are done with that. All right, this is a good time to move on. 10 to 15 topics now. Now look, glance over those things. Glance over those topics right now and put a little check mark next to your top 10, ones that stand out to your heart right now. Top 10 that you personally love. You can switch this around later, so just do what the top 10 that you personally are attracted to the most at this moment in time. All right. Ice cream truck at 6 a.m. at 7 a.m. Okay. Ready? All right. How many of you are familiar or have at least logged into ChatGPT? Familiar a little bit. Okay. I'm going to show you something on ChatGPT. I'm going to share my screen because this next part is about within those 10 topics. So those 10 topics today, those are your chapters. You have your chapters already. Now take one of those, your favorite just for today, we're going to work with. We're going to work with one of those chapters. And within this one, we're going to do subtopics. So these will be paragraphs. This is so fun. So the next step will be within this one topic. So for example, let's say the book is about travel. Of those subtopics that you narrowed it down to 10 to 20, one of them is safety. Now within that would be one chapter, safety. You could rename it, you'll rename it something more exciting later maybe. But within that chapter, we're going to work within the chapter today. And within that chapter now, really quick, I want you to write down 10 to 20 topics within that. So it would be like door safety, hotel room safety, traveling in a train, walking along the street, what to wear, what to eat, because it could be safe food, whatever. So within that, I'll stop talking for a second so you can think straight. Within your topic, write down 10 to 20 right now. Subtopic. Okay, great. Now I'm going to show you really quick something that you can do in ChatGPT to help you with this part of the process. You don't have to use it. You can do it. I did everything without it. I did all of my books without using this, but it's a new tool. I only have the free version. I know some people can do much more complicated stuff on the newer version, but I just have 3.5, I guess, the free version. And you can just ask it to do it. You can use it as your personal assistant if you want to. Some people are comfortable with it, some people are not. So if you're comfortable with it, this is how you do it. You ask it a question. You say, I'm writing a book about travel. One of my chapters will be about safety. Would you give me 15 topics within travel safety that I will address in that chapter? And I even misspelled it on purpose just to show you it still works. Okay, and it gives you suggestions. You don't have to follow the suggestions, obviously, but look at this. Pre-trip preparation and research. That's a great idea. Think about it before you go, where you're going to go, customs, potential risks, travel insurance. That is something that I actually did a talk about travel last week. I raised money for an orphanage in Nepal, and I actually talked about many of these things: health, avoiding scams, transportation. So look at that. All of these things you can include within your chapter. It can actually obviously write paragraphs as well. So you can do that as well, but I would be very cautious about that because you want it to be from you in your own words. So this is a ChatGPT. Another thing you can do is after you create, let's say, a paragraph. I wonder if I have a paragraph somewhere I could use. After you create a paragraph, it can rephrase it for you. So let's say this one. I'm just going to do this really quick because I'm not going to concentrate on ChatGPT, but I do want to show you some things. So let's say I wrote a paragraph on this. Natural disasters and weather-related safety is important. Look up information on how to prepare for natural disasters before you go. This is a sample, like let's say I created these sentences as an example. You can say, please rephrase this in a more cheerful and personable tone. It likes the word tone. It understands tone. So it does, let's see what it does. Sure, here's a more cheerful and personal rephrasing of that topic. When embarking on your exciting travel journey, it's essential to be ready for anything, including those unexpected twists brought by Mother Nature. Natural disasters and weather-related safety might sound serious, but with a dash of preparation, sprinkle of knowledge, you'll be well prepared. It actually expanded a lot on that little amount. One thing to be careful about with ChatGPT, though, I would not put any personal information in, just use it as an assistant. Another thing I use a lot is Fiverr. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but if you're on a budget, my screen truck is going by again, can you hear it? Travel. If you're on a budget, Fiverr works really great. You can hire people to do things for you. I've had my book covers created through Fiverr. I have had my formatting. Formatting is extremely important. Proofreading. There are also a lot of other websites where you can get help online. Just have people help you in every step of the way when writing a book. With any website, including Fiverr, yes, you can find people to help you, but you have to be careful and really make sure they understand what you are looking for. I've had probably just as many successes as failures using Fiverr. So whenever I do it, I realize, okay, this is a stranger. They might not be invested as much as I'm invested in this. So you really have to weed it out. And when you finally find someone who's really good and has a great communication style, they are a treasure. I've used the same person for a book cover twice. I found a person for a video that did amazing work. It's very inexpensive, but when I find someone who does amazing work, I tip them the same amount as they charge. Like if they charge $50 for something, I'll give them $100 because it's worth it to keep them for the future. And then it's not expensive when you really think about the big picture of it all. So Fiverr is a great resource. All right, so you have your topics and subtopics for that one. Raise your hand if you have that one chapter with the subtopics, at least 10 subtopics. Great. Not just take a few moments and just keep on doing that. If you don't have it, do you at least have a good sense of how to do it later once I stop talking and you're not on the call? Yes? Okay. Are there any questions at this point? If there are any questions at this point, you can unmute yourself up to take some quick questions. So what you want to do is you want to turn the 15 subtopics into questions. So, for example, transportation and safety, advice on using reputable transportation providers, understanding local customs, etc. You want to turn that into a question. Please turn the 15 topics above into questions so that it prompts me to write about it. I know that sounds kind of weird, but Okay, so now you have 15 questions. Now you can copy and paste these 15 questions into, or you can email it to yourself. And when you're in line at the grocery store, you take the first one. How can thorough pre-trip research and preparation enhance your travel safety? In the grocery store, you can answer that. So you can take 3 to 4 sentences and you answer that. So, and then you have those 3 to 4 or 5 sentences. That's a paragraph. Each one of these are paragraphs within your chapter. So you write paragraph by paragraph throughout the day. You don't have to sit at your computer for hours at a time. You can organize this. Let's say on Sunday, you organize 1 chapter a week and you have 15 topics, 15 paragraphs. You might end up not using all 15. You might end up condensing 2 because they go together in a paragraph, or eliminating 1 completely. You have a paragraph you can write. You can think about it when you're driving to work and then write it within 3 minutes when you park. You can write it when you're in line in the grocery store. You can write it anytime, right before you go to bed. When you're brushing your teeth, you think about it and you write it down, anything. So this is how you write it without it being too tedious. Okay, is that helpful? I hope that's a little bit helpful. So you go through your 10 topics, you do this, you get questions for those 10 topics and you write them. And some people try to write it really fast within a week or so. You can write a book within a week if you want to, but you don't have to. It can be like a journaling process you do throughout a year. Once you finish with that, then you have the introduction and conclusion. That can be a paragraph, it could be a chapter, whatever you feel like. And then I'd say 1 to 2 paragraphs each if you're doing a short book. Also, people unfortunately have very short attention spans these days. People don't read a lot, unfortunately. So if you're wanting to do a short book, or if you want to get your first one out and your second one will be your legacy, just get it out, get your how-to quick one out. It'll be great practice for you. I'm sure you'll have great information to share and to give the world. It'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Get your great information out there. And movement always helps. If you stay paralyzed because of perfectionism, it's not good. But if you just do something, take 1 step forward every day, even start on the smaller book, your movement will take you forward. Your next one will be so much easier. Won't be so many glitches. You won't get stuck at the same points. It'll be great. Movement, very key. All right, something that's important also is testimonials. This can be super important and very, very nice. I wish I had used them. I didn't use them until my 3rd book. I didn't think about it, but testimonials are great. If you know anyone in your field, for example, joy, if your book is about joy, you could have a psychologist. You could ask them, hey, can you write a testimonial? Ask me, I'll do it. Or if you know someone who's been through something very difficult, you can ask them and they're known or something. They don't have to be famous. They can be, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's just anyone who's able to summarize what your book is about. It could be in a sentence, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. Having someone else say that what your book is about and how great it is even more powerful than you saying it yourself. You can put that on your back cover. You can put it in the beginning pages inside. You can do a lot of things with that testimonial. All right, now book cover. Unfortunately, people do judge books by their cover. There's no way to just know what's inside of a book without reading it. So we have the visual, the cover. And a lot of that cover is the title and subtitle. And some of it is the beauty of it, what colors you use, what graphics. If it looks modern, if it looks classic, if it looks exciting, if it looks mysterious. My advice is to let somebody else do the book cover. You don't have to be good at everything. Just be good at yours, whatever you're good at, and let somebody else do it. If you want my recommendation, I found a few people that are good at book covers. But there is a lot of trial and error. So don't be afraid of asking a few people, hey, do you think you have a good idea about a book cover for this? It's worth it. I would spend more money in the book cover than most anything else, because I think I heard that they did studies that's like 80% of whether someone's going to choose the book is the actual book front cover. That's not even the back cover. And the back cover will be either a summary of what's in the book with possibly a small biography of you, maybe a picture, or a combination of that along with the recommendation, the testimonial. All right, in 15 minutes, we have good timing. Hire an expert. Simple is usually better. Very fine print or small letters, or even, like pencil drawings or small drawings, they don't pop out. They don't catch people's eye as well, especially since everyone buys things on Amazon and the icon is this big. You want something with the color. You want the letter, at least be able to read something, read the main title, maybe one word in the main title. Some main titles just have one word. So I said 5, I meant up to 5 words in the main title. Sometimes if it's smaller, that's even better. Bold, colors, simple. Proofreading, super important. I used to consider myself pretty good at writing and proofreading, and I catch errors in everyone else's work. But when I did it myself and I wrote my own book, I found so many things later. Myself, I found them when proofreading. Every single time I read it, I would find some more and more things. And other people would read it and they'd be like, Daphne, by the way, page blah, blah, blah. You need to correct this. And there's a difference between being the writer and the proofreader. And I found that it's really difficult to be both, because when you're writing, you're in a creative mode. And when you're a proofreader, you are in a more scrutinizing, analytical mode. And they're both necessary. So I highly recommend you have someone proofread it. You might have a few people proofread it before you send it to an official proofreader. And you can find that online. You can find people that proofread online as well. Even more important than proofreading is vital. You cannot skip it. But formatting is crucial. It's everything. Formatting. Do you ever open a book and you flip through and you're like, oh no, I thought I liked it by the cover, but no, I don't really want it. And might not be the content. It just might be, oh, I just can't like read that kind of formatting. It's just too close together, or the light print, or even the way the paragraphs are spaced. The way paragraphs are spaced and the margins, the font, the way the title is every new chapter on the right side, or do you just go all the way through and don't have any blank pages? It sounds simple because our brain doesn't really register sometimes, but it is extremely important. Formatting, super important with how your eyes fall on the page, and whether your brain captures the information quickly and easily. You want people to enjoy it, especially if you're writing a children's book, but no matter what. Actually, that's something I wanted to say. Talking to somebody last night about how people don't read as much anymore. People do read, but they read more in a different way. They read online and they skim a lot. You know, there's a lot of social media, there are a lot of articles, and our eyes have gotten into this habit because of what we're supposed to skim. So it's almost like a speed reading type of thing. So if you have paragraphs that are short and separated, people can say, oh, this is the paragraph about this. I get the gist of that. I could skip to the next thing. But if they're huge, long paragraphs, people might just be like, no, sorry if the birds are really loud. I can't tell. Sometimes people say the birds are loud. You know, if they're very, very long paragraphs without any space to breathe, space for your eyes to rest, to breathe, to integrate that bite, you know, you want them in bites. So that is what I would recommend to do. Really pay attention to the formatting and start to notice what you like to read. I have a feeling everyone here is a reader. So if you like books and you want to write a book, so we might be willing to go into the paragraphs and read interesting things, but notice what gets a lot of views, what people are active about. Notice how things are formatted nowadays, and how important formatting is to the brain, to be read, because we want our stuff to be read. And formatting is also margins in the book. I never thought of this before. This is one small little example of how important formatting is. So you can't really submit it to the formatter until you are completely done writing everything, even the conclusion, even you have the font the way you want it, you know, the thickness of the pages. There's so much that you have to know. The cover, if it's going to be hardcover, paperback, how many pages and everything. You have to know how many pages before you do the book cover, because they have to know how thick the edge will be, and also before formatting, so they know exactly how big the margins will be, taking into account thickness of pages, how big the book is, how the binding and everything like that. It's a lot more that goes into it than I thought. All right, so that is formatting. Once you have formatted, you can log in to your Kindle, which is exciting. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen with you. Share screen. I'm sorry. Many of you have, well, you wouldn't have a Kindle account unless you've created the back end of it already. Sorry for this pause. Okay, this is not the Kindle account you use to buy. This is one that you will be using to sell. So you create a Kindle account for yourself. You go to kdp.com, and I will write this, I will send this to you in the cheat sheet. kdp.com, create an account, and then you go to Bookshelf up here. And then you will start setting up your book. This is my first book. This is my second book. My third book I created with the one, so we have a separate account for that. Can you hear me okay? Is there background noise? Okay, good. All right, so this is I'm just gonna go into this one. So as you can see here, this top one, I have both as a Kindle and a paperback. This bottom one is just a Kindle book only. So I'm going to go into paperback for this one, continue setup. Even though I have already set it up, 6 years ago. I can always edit it. I can't edit everything, but I can edit a lot. So here is the language. You can't edit the language, obviously, and you can't edit book titles and stuff like that. So here's the language, English. It walks you through it. This is wonderful. So if you're publishing for the first time, Amazon walks you through, once you get to this process, they make it easier for you. So if you're wondering, what do I do next? Just, as I said before, take the next step that you know, and then it'll ask you for the next step, which is nice. You enter your book title, you enter your subtitle here. If you have a series, put that, or edition. I do not. You put your name, contributors, if anything. And then there's this section, which is the description section. This is how your book will be described on Amazon. All right, so this is very 2-paragraph, concise. I used to have it pretty long, but then I decided to make it smaller and easier and more captivating. 2 paragraphs. And I'm pretty sure that Amazon will use a lot of the words in here as searchable words, but you don't want to repeat the same words. So there's going to be a section down here where you put keywords in. Okay, can you guys hear background noise? Tell me the truth right now. Okay, good. Just me, so that's okay. I can deal with it. All right, so they're going to use words that you put into this description when people search. But don't worry too much about that part. Just, I highly suggest you just describe it the best of your ability in a way people will understand it the most accurate way. Okay. I own the copyright. I'm going to talk about that right now. You also want to copyright it and give it an ISBN. You go to copyright.gov to copyright it. And for ISBN, be careful. If you Google ISBN, there are going to be many people trying to sell it to you. It's actually illegal to buy a bunch of ISBNs and sell them to different people. So what you would be buying would be owned by that person, and you don't want your ISBN to be owned by another person legally. So go to only their official website. It's Bowker, BOWKER. I'll send this to you too. All right, here you want to be accurate as well. Is your primary audience adults or children? Unless it's a children's book, I would say it's for adults. Does this book contain language, situations, images, inappropriate? Okay, so if it's inappropriate, that's different. So my book does not have anything inappropriate in it. I did not choose youngest and oldest ages for my book. I don't remember why. I don't remember if I researched why. You could Google that question for the primary audience. Primary marketplace, I put as Amazon. And then I went to this section. These are very important sections. Very important. And this is the last topic I'm going to be talking about in depth today. Practical topic. So categories and keywords on Amazon are different. There are courses, there are really high things that you can pay a lot of money for figuring the system out. Everyone wants to figure the system out. And Amazon keeps changing the system every so often. So once you pay a bunch of money for a course and spend hours, it's going to change on you probably. So I highly recommend you just really stay true to what your book is about. However, I want to show you something. Okay, I'm just on the main page of Amazon. So I'm going to go to my book. Okay, my book is Shrink. You can see I also have an audiobook. You can make your own audiobook in Audacity or have it professionally recorded if you'd like, whatever you feel comfortable with. So I have audiobook, paperback, and Kindle. I'm going to go into the paperback. This is my description that I showed you. I put it in. Oh, wait, actually, this is good. This is interesting. I apparently did not update the description in the paperback. I only updated it in my Kindle. So it has my old description in my paperback. So I need to go back and do that. Under product details, this is something to look at. You see where it says bestseller rank, and then you see two categories. These are categories: exercise and fitness. Injury prevention is the category. Healing is the category. When I was a bestseller, you see how I'm number 1,246? Like, that's not number one. That's pretty like low. It's actually not that low compared to how many books are on Amazon, but it's not number one. But that's what people mean when they say bestseller. So let's click on that. Healing and exercise and fitness. I think it was injury prevention. So here's the bestsellers in exercise and fitness injury prevention. I'm going to show you some tricks that I was shown. Let's go to number one. Let's see how many books they need to sell to be number one. Scroll to the bottom. I'm sorry for this one. Look for that section that I showed you right here, product details. Okay, wow, they're number one and two areas right now. So they're number one in work-related health. I think this is a Kindle book. But their bestseller rank is number 11,000 in the Kindle store. There are probably millions of books, but they're number 11,000. So they only had to be number 11,000 in the Kindle store, but they're still considered number one in these two areas and number 6 in aging. So it's hard to know how many books they had to sell to get to this per day. And another thing that I found from my experience is this was 6 years ago from when I was the bestseller. It seems that they updated it every 2 hours. I thought it would be 1 hour or every day, but no, every 2 hours they would update who is the bestseller, or maybe 4 hours at one point. So they were updating, they could change it. Who knows? Maybe they do like 4.6 hours. If I am, let's say I am number 20. Let's say I am number 20 and I know that I sold 20 books in the last day. Let's just make it easy. Let's say I am number 10 and I sold 10 books within the last day, okay? They're number one, so they would have had to sell more than 10 books. And there are 9 other people that have sold more than 10 books in one day. to get there. And depending on how much competition there is in each category, it can vary greatly. You might only need to sell 22 books in a category to be number one. Or if you're selecting a really broad general category, you're going to have to sell 1,000. So choosing the category, that's why choosing the category is super important. Because once you're number one in the category, you see how they were displayed as number one on that page, and more eyes see them. So if somebody's searching for that category, that's going to be number one. They're going to be like, oh, well, maybe I need DARE, whatever that is, discover your purpose. So let's look at number 3, chair yoga. See if their numbers are different, very different or not. Okay, so they are number 3, as we know, in the same category. Remember how the other one was number 11,000 in books? This one is 17,000 in books. So it's hard to know how many they had to sell for that, but if you know how many you sold and you know what your number is, you can kind of start gauging how many you might have to sell. Does that make sense broadly to you guys? Okay. I hope that's helpful. So this is the category, stretching exercise. Oh, another thing is that, see on the left here, those are categories that Amazon gives. They actually have a category of hip and thigh workouts. But did you know that there are categories that Amazon does not show here that are actual categories? They don't even give you the options, and so you have to think it up yourself. It's kind of weird. So I've heard also that, yeah, you have to, so half of it is shown that you can choose, and half of it is not shown. They might have changed that too, but I really doubt it. I really believe there are a lot of things that are not visible. Obviously, they don't want people they don't want the bestsellers to only be people that are good at understanding their system. They want them to truly be bestseller and loved by the public. So they're not gonna like share all how they do it, but that's how it's done. So when we go back to Kindle, this is the category. These are the categories I'm in. You can edit the categories. So these are the ones that I can choose from. But there are others that exist. I think it is done by you. I think you can actually call in and say, hey, I think I belong in this category, but you don't have it. Can I? And they'll put you in. I haven't done that, but I think that's how a lot of people become bestsellers. They personally contact them and do that. So if I wanted to be, it only lets you do 3. So I would have to uncheck one to check the next one. For example, you can change the categories as you like. But I think you shouldn't make changes too often. These are keywords. Keywords are a little bit different. You see how Amazon just walks you through it? You wonder, how do I choose keywords? Well, it tells you. You just click on that and it explains it to you. It's better to have keywords that are not in your title, that are not in the description you had here. The more types of words you have, more variety, the better. So these are some keywords I personally use. I've changed this once in a while, actually. Go back and change it according to what you think best. Save and continue. And then the next pages are where you actually upload your book, your formatted book. And I have never formatted it myself. they will give it to you in the format you need, and it will look great. So nice. You choose what kind of paper you want, black and white interior with cream paper, or you can do white paper. Color is going to cost you a little bit more. You tell them what size you want. I did pretty much standard. If you want matte or glossy, I forgot what bleed means, but it shows you right here. Okay, this is the standard with that one too. I knew at one point you can look up what the, the details later. You upload your manuscript here. And then when it's so successful, it feels so good. Then you upload your cover, and then you launch your previewer. I actually had trouble recently with my cover, so I'm not sure if this is going to work very well. Okay. What happened? I think I was just kicked out for some reason. The previewer basically will look like a real book. You can split the pages and you'll know what it looks like when you get your book. I'm not sure if it's going to work right now to show you. No, it won't work right now to show you for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think I had a glitch that I personally need to change in my previewer. The previewer is good, especially if you have a paperback or hard copy. You can just do Kindle. Kindle is so much more simple than any of this. For Kindle, you don't have to worry about the margins and the book cover binding or anything like that. Oops. I'm going to go back to another book for now to show you something. My book cover is not perfectly exact. I need to go get someone to help me. I tried to improve my cover. I tried to make it, I saw an error and it was bothering me. Probably nobody else would ever notice it, but I saw it and I wanted to fix it. So I went and I asked them to fix it. And when they sent me the new cover, it's off by like 0.1 like a tiny millimeter off, and it won't let you republish it unless it's perfectly sized. So that's what the issue is. So let's go into my other one, get them to fix it right. Okay. They have ad campaigns as well. You go to these little dots, edit book details for content. Anyway, those are the main way. This is the main way to do it. Same thing. It's going to be a little bit more simple. Uploaded. Some people only do Kindle. Very easy. And a lot of people just only want to read on their device nowadays. Okay, then you're here where it says territories. I want it to be available everywhere, so I just say all territories. And then you list your price. And I just did trial and error for mine. I feel like I pack my books with a lot of information. I feel like it's worth a lot more than a book is worth. I don't do filler. So I put it as 988. I'm not sure why I decided to do those numbers, but I did 988. I like that number that day, I guess. So let's say you wanted to change it 977. It changes all of the rest of the country. So it converts it to pounds, 7.6 pounds, 8.78 euro. And there is, this thing up here is very interesting. there's a royalty plan. So I will get 70% of this. However, you see how this says must be between $2.99 and $9.99. This is for Kindle. It has to be within there for me to get 70%. Let's say if I made it $10, I have to get 35%. Isn't that interesting? It makes sense to think about that. They only give you 35% if it's over $10 Kindle book, or if it's under 99 cents. I'm not sure why. Maybe they figure if it's that cheap, then they're going to have a lot of people buying it. They must be doing a promotion kind of thing. You can change this once in a while too. So if you're going to do an event and you want everyone to have a discount, or if you're doing an event and you want it to be more expensive on Kindle, and then you want to sell it, you have it in your hand, the physical copies at the event, and you're going to sell them at a discount on the event. You can do that as well. I'm going to make it $9 at the moment. And then you republish. And then you can buy your own writer's copy. It'll take up to 72 hours. I find that it takes within 12 hours, if it's a Kindle, to update. Okay, so if you want to, let's say you want to buy, your own book, trying to see. So Kindle is a little bit different, but if you want to buy your own book that is with paperback book, you go into the 3 dots next to the paperback action, and it says edit details, edit content, edit rights and pricing, order author copies. This is the fun part. You can order like 100 books to yourself. So let's say I wanted to order 100. I would choose Amazon.com if I'm in the United States. If I'm traveling and I wanted to have it shipped to one of these other places, it looks like it'll only ship to these countries: Australia, Canada, is that Denmark, Spain, France, Italy, UK. So I'm in Sri Lanka right now. I don't think it would ship here. So let's say I choose Amazon.com, 100 copies, add to cart. Let's see how much they're going to charge me. Only $2.89. That's how much it costs for it to be. That's how much probably the book costs to be made. It's really nice because they make the book for you. You don't have to ship it from home or anything. People buy it on Amazon and they ship it to them. So this is how much it would be. $2.89 would be the subtotal, but then look how much the shipping is. The shipping is a little bit more. Okay, so that is the summary of how to go from idea to writing it to publishing your own book.